Pink Poodle Crafts, join the Poodle Pack. It's time to get creative and make you laugh. Make your own art today. Pink Poodle Crafts is the way.
What a good boy.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving and didn't get too full and have to unbutton all their pants or rip seams in their butts from eating too much. I wanted to come on and once again clear things up about the whole FTC and COPPA thing and make sure that people are hearing what I say regarding that, because it's important that, you know, the fear mongering stops. Is really important that everybody stops freaking out, because, and it's like they hear me and they watch the video and then they just keep going as if I am lying to them or something. YouTube creators that are crafters in the community, we sit down and we do videos, and we're not sitting here, going, ooh, let's do a video so that kids can watch it. We're not the ones that COPPA is looking for. I've said it before, and I have some proof to back that up, because they came out with a thing, a kind of a little explanation, an extra little excerpt the FTC did, basically reiterating what I said. They are not after crafters. And I know that a lot of the fear-mongering things that people are watching on YouTube, and the people are like, yeah, you can't do this, you can't do that, if you have a character and this, that, and the other. But if you logically pay attention to what their audience is, what their channels are about for the most part, and who they are gearing what they're saying to, it'll make a little more sense too. Because we in the crafting community are pretty insignificant on YouTube. I know. It's a bubble I didn't want to have to burst, but nobody's watching us. That's why even the largest crafter on here, like the largest crafter that does like the stuff that we do. Now, yes, there's Nerdy Crafter, but she kind of does, hers is not exactly what we do. Do you know what I mean? Hers is in a little bit of a different realm than us, because she is a little bit more mainstream on the crafting scale, whereas we are not exactly. So I would look to the biggest channel that I can think of in my head is like the Frugal Crafter, which has, 300,000 subscribers. But generally speaking, most crafters fall under the 50,000 subscriber count list. So we are the bottom of the barrel on YouTube, believe it or not. We are probably absolutely the bottom of the barrel on YouTube. So when you see a YouTuber who isn't a crafter saying things about how, oh yeah, you better watch out, you can't show this and you can't do this. Their main audience, and possibly them themselves, and who they're gearing their videos at, are people like gamers, people that have kids in their videos, people that show like retro toys, adults that show retro toys and stuff like that. They don't know who we are, and they're not usually thinking much about what we're doing. So they don't understand that, and a lot of people don't understand, that there is a general or mixed audience, kind of, let's call it an exception, when it comes to COPPA. And basically what that means is, if your channel is directed to kids, you are automatically going to get looked at as with a microscope from COPPA. That means if you're directing your videos, forget the word appealing. Everybody got stuck on that word, but that is not the focused word. So take that one away. And I'll show you and I'll prove to you why. Take that word away and change it to directed. Because they screwed up and everybody attached onto that word. Child appealing, child appealing, child appealing. Oh, if it appeals to children, take that away. Don't even pretend it never existed. Change that to directed, because that's their new word now. Directed is a little more matter of fact. It's a little more cemented. Okay, so directed, we obviously understand what that means. If it is a child-directed video, that means if it is intended for children, purposefully, not, oh, I don't know, maybe, could it be intended for kids? I don't know. No, it's not that. It's the person has to know in their head that majority of people who are going to watch it are kids. We do not fall in that category. We are not child-directed. Therefore, we do not fall under the COPPA blanket. We are not in violation, nor will we be as of January 1st. And that doesn't matter if we use a little golden book. It doesn't matter if we use Crayola crayons, as long as we are not using the Crayola crayons going, oh, look, kids, and you can get this color and this color. Oh, let's draw Santa Claus, and being all hippity-hoppity and wanting to, and directing that video towards kids and making it like as if you were talking to a 5-year-old. So if you're not making your video talking to a 5-year-old when you do it, then you're not directed towards kids, regardless of if there is a golden book in your video. What they were talking about is a video that was directed towards kids. To them is a video that obviously the channel owner knew that kids mostly were going to watch it. And in that, they gave like a description of what that would mean for those people. And I have a hard time explaining this. Like, I know in my head what I mean, but I have a hard time getting it out. When they said things like, you know, colorful characters and, you know, kids appealing things or whatever, they were talking about already videos that were directed towards kids. But even if they're directed towards kids, that's where like, oh, well, could it really be, the ones that cross the line, they're directed towards kids, but they still have that fine line. It's still not us. We're way over here. We're way over here out of that lane. So all of that we would read, oh, it's appealing to kids and it has characters and it has colors and, oh, if we're doing this or, we are not in that. That's further breaking down the people that COPPA might look at as directed to kids. That's the ones that they're going to, like the people that own the channel are going to go, well, I didn't direct it towards kids, but they kind of did. So they're going to like set the, guidelines of, well, you have like 8,000 toys and you're talking in a little kid voice. You got kids commercials running on your thing. You got colorful characters and these fun backgrounds, like as if you're a little kid. That's where that's going. We are way over here. We're over here we're a bunch of 30, 40-year-old somethings. We don't talk to kids. Most of us are annoyed with kids. Get out of our life. Kids have been raised. Get out of my house. Go away. Get off my lawn. That's where we are, just to give an analogy. We are over here in the grumpy old people section. COPPA can give a crap about what we're doing. They're not after us. They know that we have no impact on kids. They know that. YouTube collects data. And that data can tell them which videos kids are watching most. And when they know that, then they can tell the advertisers, okay, so these videos over here, there's at least 75% or more kids watching. These videos over here, there's 50% kids, 50% adults watching. And these old geezers over here, they have like 90% adults and 10% kids. And so the advertisers then go, okay, we'll put all the Disney and the Fisher-Price and the cartoon commercials on these videos. We'll put all the like mid-range, kind of, fluffy but not kiddie commercials, normal regular TV commercial type things here. And then over here, we'll put the tampons, the beauty stuff. We'll put the computer related, secure your computer, you old bat, because you're going to get scammed because you're dumbass. And we're going to, put the NordVPN and the Dollar Shave Club and the audio books and the reading glasses. That's how that's broken up, right? So when the FTC is looking at these channels trying to figure out who's under violation, they're going to look at what commercials are playing on the videos. So go through and see what commercials are playing. And you might not be able to see the ones on your videos all the time, but any crafter, we're all going to be in the same boat. Not one crafter in our community, for the most part, is going to be any different than any others when it comes to this. We're all going to have the same type of commercials playing on our videos. They're going to be about cooking utensils. They're going to be about, makeup, and they're going to be about this, and they're going to be about bath bombs, and they're going to be about this and that, whatever. And they're going to be typical, stupid commercials that we, and in the kids section, if you go to any kids video, or if you want to know which videos are potentially under violation of COPPA, look for a video that has little kid ads on it. Little happy music and singing little animals in the ads. And things like, Fisher-Price and Chuck E. Cheese and all that. Those are the ones they're worried about. We are not even in the realm under the radar in their sites at all. Okay? Please understand that. That's the truth. No matter what you hear from people who don't have us in their brain, because they're thinking about their own stuff, so they're all in this kind of like, they're like in over here kind of, or they're not sure if they're over here, so they're freaking out. But we're over here. We ain't got nothing to worry about as our videos. In fact, if any one of us crafters in the community gets hit with a $42,000 fine, I'll pay it for you. That's how confident I am that we're not in that realm. I just want to make that really, really clear, because people are deleting their channels, which is so heartbreaking and so aggravating, because they're jumping on a reaction instead of listening to reason. It's almost like they hear the reason, but then they go, no, this overblown dramatic fear-mongering sounds better. I'm going to follow it because I'm going to just be paranoid and follow it. Because it can't possibly be the reason, any kind of reason or logic. It's got to be this fear. But I'm telling you right now, what I'm telling you is true. But there is action that we should still take, because regardless of whether or not we are in that realm or and we're out of the woods, YouTube as a whole is in danger if COPPA goes after people just because they have kids videos. And I'll explain that later. Even though we personally are not affected right this second, in the long run, we might very well be not fined, but we might be affected as far as YouTube going bankrupt and everybody going, oh, well, no more servers, YouTube's gone. And don't think that can't happen. But for right now, I'm going to show you the new updated COPPA thing that they came out with that further explains now how they have taken the word appeals and moved it to directed. And they went out of their way to make sure that you knew they meant directed to. And when they said appeals, that meant to the people that were on the fence. We're not on the fence. Even if we use a little golden book, even if we use Crayola markers, even if we use crayons, even if we whatever. Because we're not sitting here going, hey, look, good boys and girls, look at these Crayola crayons. You want to play with them? That's not how we're talking. If obviously we were using those things and we were talking like that, that would be directed towards kids. But if we're just using Crayola crayons in our old lady crafting and we're not over here, trying to tell kids how to do something. We're over here just being ourselves and being old and, you know what I mean? We can do whatever we want. Okay. Let me show you. Okay. So, it says YouTube channel owners, is your content directed to children? This is from the Federal Trade Commission. They updated this on the 22nd at 12:56 p.m. Under COPPA, how do I know if my channel is directed to children? Since the FTC and New York Attorney General announced their September 2019 settlement with YouTube for violations of the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act rule, that's a lot. We've heard that question from channel owners, sometimes called content creators. If you're a channel owner who shares content on a user-generated platform like YouTube, read on for FTC staff guidance about the applicability of the COPPA rule and how those covered by the rule can comply with its requirements. And this just talks about, kind of a little recap about what happened with the FTC against Google. We all know that, blah, blah, blah. And then it says how COPPA applies to channel owners. So it says, so how does COPPA apply to channel owners who upload their content to YouTube or other third-party platform? COPPA applies in the same way it would if the channel owner had its own website or app. If a channel owner uploads content to a platform like YouTube, the channel might meet the definition of a website or online service covered by COPPA, depending on the nature of the content and the information collected. If which we don't collect information, I don't think we have anything to do with this because we are not collecting information. And I think there's a lot of factors that go into this that doesn't make this applicable to us. If the content is directed to children and if the channel owner or someone on its behalf, for example, an ad network, collects personal information from viewers, that's what I'm saying. The channel owner, which is us, we do not collect personal information from viewers of the content from kids, meaning. So we don't fall under this. So even if we were in violation, we wouldn't be held accountable because we are not collecting any data. Let me read that again. If the content is directed to children, it has to be directed to children. And then if the owner or someone on its behalf, like an ad network, there's ad networks you could sign up for and they just take your money, don't ever do it. If the owner collects personal information from viewers of that content, meaning kids, for example, through a persistent identifier that tracks a user to serve internet-based ads, the channel is covered by COPPA. We don't do that because we are not huge YouTubers with big ad networks and all this stuff. So nothing is going to happen to us. But anyway, once COPPA applies, the operator must provide notice, obtain verifiable parental consent, and meet COPPA's other requirements. For information on how to comply with COPPA, please visit blah, 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 blah. So then it says how channel owners can determine if their content is directed to children. They no longer use appeal because, like I said, they used appeal in a way that was actually different than what everybody thought. They thought it meant everybody, but actually it fell under the directed to children. And it was just saying that if your thing was directed to children and it had these factors, which meant appealing to kids, blah, blah, blah. That was that gray area I was talking about before, which we aren't even in that area. Okay, so it says the rule. Anyway. It says under COPPA, there is no one-size-fits-all answer about what makes a site directed. Here it is again, directed to children. But we can offer some guidance. To be clear, your content isn't considered directed to children just because some children may see it. Let's say that again. Your content isn't considered directed to children just because some children may see it. However, if your intended audience is kids under 13, you're covered by COPPA and have to honor the rules requirements. That is a very key set of sentences. Your content isn't considered directed to children just because some children may see it. However, if your intended audience is kids under 13, you're covered by COPPA and have to honor the rules requirements. And then, if your intended audience is kids under 13 and you're covered by COPPA, which we are not, so we don't have to honor the rules, but if you were, and only if you were, the rule sets out additional factors the FTC will consider in determining whether your content is child-directed. So in other words, if they say if your video is child-directed and you're trying to say it's not, when clearly it is because it's got kids ads on it, it's got all kinds of kids, it's got kids this, kids that, kids this, kid that, kids toys, little kids this, specific like little kid stuff. Okay? But you're saying no, then they're going to say, okay, well, this is what we'll do. We'll consider these factors when trying to decipher if your video is child-directed. They're going to look at the subject matter. They're going to look at visual content. They're going to see if you use animated characters or child-obtained activities or incentives, the kind of music or audio content, the ages of the models, which I guess if people use kids in their videos, the presence of child celebrities or celebrities who appeal to children, language or other characteristics of the site, whether advertising that promotes or appears on the site is directed to children, and competent and reliable empirical evidence about the age of the audience. None of that applies to us, because we do not make our videos directed to children. And just because we might use something that a kid might find interesting as well, doesn't mean that our whole channel and our whole video is directed towards kids. There is a happy medium. And then it says the determination of whether content is child-directed will be clearer in some contexts than in others, but we can share some general rules of thumb. First, unless you affirmatively target kids, there are many subject matter categories where you don't have to worry about COPPA. Okay? Unless you are affirmatively targeting kids, there are categories where you don't have to worry about COPPA. For example, if your videos are about traditionally adult activities like employment, finances, politics, homeownership, home improvement, or travel, you're probably not covered unless your content is geared towards kids. The same would be true for videos aimed at high school or college students. On the other hand, if your content includes traditional children's pastimes or activities, it may be child-directed. For example, the FTC recently determined that an online dress-up game was child-directed. Okay, so I know what people are going to do. Well, in traditional childhood pastimes or activities is crafting. No, not what we do. I have never seen a child make a junk journal in my entire life. I've never seen a child make an art doll or do mixed media, or you know what I mean? Like, that's not typical. Now, if we were making paper dolls, and then it would fall under the we're going to go up here and they're going to look at the content, they're going to look at the music, the age of the people that are watching. A lot of things would have to come into effect. But traditional children's pastimes, Ring Around the Rosie, outside games, cornhole or coin or ring toss, coloring and coloring books. Hold on before you say, well, adults coloring books. Children's coloring books with children in the video, or you're sitting there going, look kids, watch how you draw. I can teach you how to draw in the lines. It depends on a lot of factors. There's not just one thing. You're not just going to sit down with an adult coloring book and COPPA's going to go, nope, that's for kids. It's not that black and white. Okay, read between the lines and stop looking for the fear. COPPA is not something that is looking for us. Try to understand what their aim is here. Their aim in this whole thing is to protect children that are being advertised to by people, by kids' ads on videos that kids are watching mostly. Like all kids. They're not coming over to a bunch of old lady craft channels who have 300 subscribers, 200 subscribers, 30,000 subscribers, 26,000 subscribers, 100 subscribers, 500, 1,000. They're not over here going, let me nitpick these little guys over here. We are not directed towards children. I don't know if I could say that enough. Anyway, second, just because your video has bright colors or animated characters doesn't mean you're automatically covered by COPPA. While many animated shows are directed to kids, the FTC recognizes there can be animated programming that appeals to everyone. Now take that, because they're trying to give you kind of like they're trying to give you an example, but apply that example in the craft community. It's not just, that was an example. Okay, that was just an example. Take that example and apply it to us. And let's reread it. Second, just because your video has a little golden book or a repurposed Barbie doll doesn't mean you're automatically covered by COPPA. While many little golden books are directed to kids, the FTC recognizes there can be little golden books being used as junk journals that appeal to everybody. I tried to make that the best I can to make you understand that. I'm trying to put the examples that they gave up here because they didn't just mean bright colors and animated characters. They meant everything. They're trying to help you guys find that happy medium that I talked about in the first video I made. They're trying to help you understand that. They're trying to get you to the people, because they know, believe me, they've seen the fear mongering, and they themselves are trying to say, okay, everybody chill out. Okay, chill out. Let's look at the happy medium as much as possible. Even though they're still not doing the best job, they really need to come out with a detailed list saying, if you're a crafter, because I know that people are going to freak out until they actually say that, because there are people that cannot read between the lines and understand that they're implying that we are fine. They really are, I promise. And then it says, third, the complaint in the YouTube case offers some examples of channels the FTC considers to be directed to children. For example, many content creators explicitly stated in the About section of their YouTube channel that their intended audience was children under 13. We don't do that. Other channels made similar statements in communications with YouTube. In addition, many of the channels featured popular animated children's programming or showing kids playing with toys or participating in child-oriented activities. Exactly what I said up here. They are not looking for people they don't consider children's pastimes somebody that's ripping apart a golden book or doing crafts. They're talking about things like kids playing with certain toys and participating in child-oriented activities, ring around the rosy, jump rope, whatever. Some of the channel owners also enabled settings that made their content appear when users searched for the names of popular toys or animated characters. Want to see the FTC's analysis in context? Read pages, blah, 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 of the YouTube complaint. I can open that in another page, but I'm not sure I'm going to sit there and read the whole thing. But basically what they're saying is, if you sat there and put in your channel tags and your settings for your channel, what type of channel you have, how it has, we're in the how-to section, but let's say you put it in the kids section or whatever, I don't know what the sections are, and let's say all your channel tags are kids, kid games, kid toys, Barney, Peppa Pig, you're tagging your whole video with a bunch of kid stuff. Okay, that's different. Then you are purposefully directing your video towards kids, obviously. Finally, if you've applied the factors listed on COPPA rule, in the COPPA rule, and still wonder if your content is directed to children, it might help to consider how others view your content and content similar to yours. Has your channel been reviewed on sites that evaluate content for kids? Mine hasn't. Is your channel or channels like yours mentioned in blogs for parents of young children or in media articles about child-directed content? Mine's not. Have you surveyed your users, or is there other empirical evidence about the age of your audience? Aha! See, we can do that right here. If you go to the analytics of your channel, here is the age thing. And every one of us is going to have this almost exact same set of age range because we all fall under this age range. 13 to 17, 8.3%. Now, of course, under 13 is not shown because they're not allowed, in quotes, to have a channel supposedly, or, sign up for YouTube. So most of them claim to be 13 to 17 years old. Obviously, they're not going to say they're 21 because they usually put their picture on their thing and they clearly don't look 21. So we are not in the bracket, okay? And then we've got 18 to 24 years. And besides, 13 to 17, that's fine. You do understand that 13 to 17, we're good. Even if that wasn't, but that includes some of the kids that are under 13 because, of course, they've made their age. Like if they're 12, they're going to say they're 13 because 13 is the limit. You have to be at least 13. They're going to say they're 13 when they sign up, or 15, They're not going to go much further than that because their picture's going to give it away. Their content's going to give it away. Them being on camera when they're making their little stupid videos are going to be, obvious. So they're going to pretty much stay in the 13 to 17 age range. But all of us, all our stuff is in usually these categories here. And that keeps us safe because that's the first thing COPPA's going to look at. I got news for you. This is what matters the most. So if you look at this and see that the 13 to 17 year old isn't all the way out here, which could indicate that you have younger viewers than this, and you just have the 18 to 24, 25 to 34, 35 to 44, or whatever, we're fine. This is a very minute number. This is not what they're looking for. They're looking for this to be way bigger than the adult section all put together. They're looking for this to be all the way purple over here and these to all be, here all together. They are not after crafters. I'm going to keep saying that until it drills into your head. I really am. Okay. What are the possible penalties for violating COPPA? The rule allows for civil penalties up to $42,000 per violation. Let's read that again because everybody that read, I'm going to get fined $42,530 per video, per violation. I'm going bankrupt. I'm getting off YouTube. Oh my God, kill me now. They didn't read the up to part. They did not read the up to part. How many times have you gotten a speeding ticket and gone to court and fought the speeding ticket or fought any kind of ticket? The maximum fine for that ticket was $500, let's say. How many of you ever in a million years got the $500 fine? Nobody. We usually got $100, $75, $150, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like they the first time offense thing, you might even not get any fine. Anyway, but we are not falling under that, so it doesn't matter. The rule allows for civil penalties up to $42,000 per violation, but the FTC considers a number of factors, which nobody wants to listen to, in determining the appropriate amount, including a company's, we are not a company, a company's financial condition, and the impact a penalty could have on its ability to stay in business. We are not a business. We are not a company. That would be YouTube. While Google and YouTube paid $170 million, in other COPPA cases settled this year, the operator paid a total civil penalty of $35,000. We are not in this realm. Again, we don't fall under this. We are not what they're looking for. We don't have an impact penalty could have on its ability to stay in business because we're not in business. We're not trying to target kids. They obviously are going to see that. They're not even going to look at our videos, honestly, because they're going to look at the ones that have commercials for kids, that are advertising to kids, because that's what this all came about, is the fact that YouTube was collecting data to give it to advertisers to advertise to kids. So guess what they're doing? They're looking for the kids' advertisements to see who is doing what that is advertised to kids. We don't have ads for kids on our channels. Where can channel owners go for more information? A look at the factors in the COPPA rule will help most channel owners, I would say none because everybody freaked out, determine if their content is directed to children. If you are still unsure about how COPPA applies to you, consider contacting an attorney or consulting with one of the COPPA's safe harbor programs, blah, 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 whatever. Okay. And then the compliant for permanent, oh, Jesus, that's not one of these. This is just about the YouTube thing. I think I read like half of this once because I was like, okay, this is stupid. I can't read all this. Yeah, so this has to do with the people that are that have ads on their videos for kids and whether or not their intention is to have those kids be advertised to or not. We do not have ads for kids on our channel. Okay, we don't. We do not fall under the directed to children. We do not fall under the, collecting data, advertising to children, little kid models, playing kids games and saying things in a uppity voice to attract them. That's not us. That could not be more clearer that it's not us. It might not be clear for those that are still gonna fall under this part over here where they're like they got kids ads going on, but they're claiming, I swear I'm not for kids. Those people are gonna have some issues. That's gonna be a whole other ball game. But we're way over here. Way over here. Now YouTube said, or I don't know, somebody said that the news or something said that YouTube was going to be coming out with some sort of automated thing to help kind of go through and, flag videos. Understand that when that happens, it's not COPPA. That doesn't mean we're getting a fine. That doesn't mean we're in trouble. That doesn't mean we're going to jail. That doesn't mean the FTC's coming after us. YouTube is putting a ridiculous tool in place to try to cover their ass because they know that COPPA will go after the business and the owner operator of the site before they even come after us, if they even give us any kind of fine, which they're not coming after us, but YouTubers in general. Like they know, so they're trying to cover their ass right now. So they're going to make their own little screening, automated BS thing, like they did a couple years ago with the ads, and they went through and it ended up demonetizing a whole bunch of people, and you had to have at least 1,000 views on it to appeal it, and all that crap happened. And it took like a year and a half for that thing to finally kind of even itself out and stop just demonetizing everything that, whatever. They're coming out with another one of those. Oh, yay. And this time, it may hit one or two of us or some of us because it's just going to go through and automatically, but I'm sure they're going to be having an appeal thing on it like they did last time. And it's not going to have any effect on FTC because they're just trying to save their ass. They're trying to get ahead of the game, in other words. So, because FTC is going to come through, and it's not like the FTC is going to say to YouTube, hey, YouTube, who's violating the COPPA Act? YouTube's going to be like, figure that out for yourself, mofos. You got $170 million of my money. Now, yes, they have to comply with certain things they put in place. which is why, but again, they're paranoid, which is why it says for kids, not for kids. It should have said for kids, or maybe a mixed audience, which would have been us, or not for kids, just for adults. And they didn't. They failed to put that third one in there that said general mixed audience because they were covering their ass. They wanted people to choose, yes, you're for kids, no, you're for kids, which screwed everybody up. And now their little automated thing is going to come out and it's going to go around and try to nitpick and this, that, and the other. But it's not really going to do anything. So don't worry about that. Even if it does, I doubt it will hit any of us because it's looking at the people with children's ads. It is not really going to be looking at us. That's, but again, that's not anything that can fine us or anything. The most they're going to do is cut the comments off or whatever, and then you have to go in and appeal it and all that. Most likely, that's how that's going to work. But as far as everything goes, we are not in violation of COPPA. Again, I'll pay a $42,000 fine. If anybody gets a $42,000 fine, just bring it to me. I'll write you a check. Or I'll go to court with you, or I'll do whatever. Because I'm confident that we are not in that realm. However, I still would like to see everybody please leave a comment for the FTC and tell them that this is still a bad idea because it's going to do more harm for kids than good. Because on top of the fact that there are some YouTube content creators who are directed towards kids, who are constantly pushing merch and selling things and might not be the best representation, whatever, I don't know. There is a ton of really good, wholesome content for kids out there. And they're going to lose their comment section, their monetization. They're going to not be able to be searched. Nobody's going to be able to search and even find their videos. And these are people that are actually making really quality, good content for kids. And that's going to suck because these kids are still going to go on YouTube and search for videos to watch. And they're not going to find any of those videos. They're going to find the old ladies, or they're going to come in and go, "What are you doing? You're ugly." And they're going to start causing more havoc because they ain't got nothing to do because they can't watch their videos that they like. Or they're going to go and find content that is not appropriate for kids, like people swearing F this, F that, la la la. And it's going to wreak havoc. And it's also going to bankrupt a lot of YouTubers. A lot of these larger YouTubers that make awesome content are not going to be able to keep doing that as a day job. They're going to have to go back to work at another job. And all that content that was really good for kids, that is actually a good influence on kids, is going to disappear. And they're not going to be able to create that content anymore. And YouTube is going to turn into a cesspool. And kids are still going to be watching it. Because parents are just going to go, "Here you go, here's the iPad." And kids are going to go, YouTube. Parents aren't going to they're not going to know that it's become a cesspool unless they're really, really on top of things, which I guess if COPPA thought they were or if FTC thought they were on top of things, this wouldn't even be happening. Really, COPPA needs to let the parents parent their children, stop trying to come in and infringe all kinds of BS on YouTube creators that aren't trying to harm kids, that are just out there trying to make good content, family-friendly content, good stuff for kids, and get over it and ask YouTube to stop collecting information, which they won't do. They don't need to collect information. If advertisers want to advertise, it's not like the advertisements are anything other than what's on TV. So who cares if a kid sees, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't be directing all the advertisements for kids to kids. It should stop collecting data, and it should make the advertisers advertise as if they're advertising on any typical, television channel like ABC, whatever. You know, just advertise. The kids don't care about the advertisements. They're not there to watch the advertisements. They're going to hit skip the second they see it anyway. But anyway, it's important you do that so that YouTube doesn't... Unfortunately, we have to fight YouTube's battle because they're idiots and they left us basically to the wolves by not putting a general audience section option for us to hit. So they left us to the wolves, but now we have no choice but to save YouTube because, and they know that, and they're sitting back allowing us, you know, so nice of them to let us fight their battle because, you know, they know that there's not much they can do. So they're going to make us fight this. And we have no choice because we all want to be here. So the only thing we can do is sign the petition. I'll put the links below. Sign the petition. Leave a comment for FTC. Do it before the 9th of December, please. Because even though the crafting community is out of the woods, YouTube as a whole in the future, and this could be 2 years from now, 3 years from now, I don't see it being that long off, but maybe 5 years max. It could turn into nothing. It could be dust. It can end up being the MySpace or the Vine of the internet and just disappear. And it would suck. Everything we worked for, all our videos gone, nowhere to go, nowhere, you know, it would suck. So that part of it is where we should be worrying about and focusing our energy, not on our own personal stuff, because our own personal stuff, we're not the problem. For once, the crafting community isn't the problem. So please think about what I said. You can watch it and think, I'm not listening to her. I'm just gonna, you know, erase my channel, whatever. If you're hell-bent on not listening to what I'm saying, I can't exhaust myself every day trying to answer questions and explain to people why FTC doesn't give a crap or a hoot about what we're doing, because we are not. They would get nothing out of us. We are not violating anything by making crafts. They want the channels that are big time channels, that are going after, that have the most impact on kids, and that, you know, have the most advertising to kids and stuff like that. They don't want little old us over here, because they're not going to get anything out of us. It's not going to set an example to go and beat up on a little old lady crafter. All that's going to do is just piss everybody off in the whole world, and then the FTC is going to have more problems than they want. They're looking at people that are purposefully making kids videos, and we're not that. So please don't stress and delete channels and stuff, you know. If anything else, just pass this video along so other people can calm down, because it's heartbreaking to listen to people say, well, I'm sorry guys, I'm deleting all my... It's like, oh God, like I hear that and my heart drops, and I'm just like, why would you do that? I mean, I understand. I get the fear, sort of, but once they have read what I just read and actually listened and stopped listening to the YouTubers that are not in the craft community, that don't know what affect the craft community because they don't care what affects the craft community. They're not in the craft community. They're not interested. They're interested in their community, which is like gaming or toy reviews or, you know, I don't know, animation, whatever. They're out for that. And they're also out for views. So the best way to get views is to have somebody going, yeah, if you don't do this, we're all going to be in trouble. And because then that person goes, oh my God, and shares the video. Look at this, Phyllis. Do you see what's going on? And then Phyllis says, oh my God, let me share that with Bob or Billy Bob. Billy Bob, do you see what's going on? They're trying to get as many views as possible on top of giving information, but the information doesn't pertain to us. But YouTube as a whole, and COPPA as a whole, and FTC as a whole, does pertain to us in the long run, like I said. So, all right. Anyway, I'm done. I'm trying. I'm trying to get people to not freak, but I really hate seeing it. Anyway, if you have any questions or if you're still not clear about something, please leave me a comment or just message me on Facebook. But please share this video, and please, if you know of somebody who is on there going, I'm going to delete my channel or I'm leaving YouTube, please send them this video or just send them to me or anything. I don't know. Smack them upside the head. Kidnap them until they calm down. Just, I don't want to see the craft community get destroyed. Because that is like the ultimate thing that could happen. The craft community could almost disappear out of fear. Or good crafters, or anybody, and it could suck. It really, I just don't like that idea, you know? I like seeing everybody, you know, teaching their videos and doing their thing, and, you know, I've always done everything I can to get more people to upload videos to YouTube, because I think it's awesome, and I think it's fun, and I like seeing other crafters get excited about posting videos and get involved in the community. I like that. And I don't want to see people scare other people off or get scared themselves or cause other people to all of a sudden listen to what they're saying and freak out. And or somebody that maybe was going to start a YouTube channel now says, hell no, I ain't doing it. I don't want to discourage people from making videos. If I thought there was going to be an issue, I swear to you, if I thought that in any way, shape, or form we were at risk, I would be the first person to be like, all right, hold up. But I don't feel that way. Not in the craft community. Not unless you are making craft videos for kids. That's a different genre. That's something I can't help you with. But if we're just making craft videos like we always make craft videos and we never have a kid in mind when we're doing it, and that includes if you're like, oh, but I wanted to make a journal for my grandson and say that this is for my granddaughter or my grandson or my, you know, or my nieces, you know, a keepsake this, or I want to make I want to make like an art doll for my daughter. I want to make a figurine thing candle for my daughter. That still isn't directed towards kids. The video's not directed towards kids, even if the thing you're making is a gift for a kid. That's different, because the gift for the kid is not going to be the collection of the data. It would be if a bunch of kids were watching, and they're not. Because just because you make something doesn't mean kids are watching it. Because, you know, it's not exactly like that. But anyway. Anywho, I hope you guys have had a great Thanksgiving, and I hope everybody keeps making videos and make some good, you know, fun videos, and no more crying and saying you're leaving, and no more, you know, getting upset, and no more freaking out and closing channel. Please, please don't. I always do everything I can to protect this community like crazy. I always have its best interest at heart. Always. And I will never not have its best interest at heart, no matter what that means. Anyway, have a good day. I will talk to you later. Do what you love what you do, be nice to people. Peace out.